For the first time in the history of the world, human beings are now large enough in numbers and in economic prowess and the way in which we're living to be the primary determinant of the habitability of the planet for ourselves and all of the species. This is unprecedented, and it's because of enormous growth. In the last 2 centuries, we have increased the population of the world from 1 billion to 6.7 billion. We've increased energy consumption by 80 times and economic output 68 times. And most of that has happened during my lifetime. This is extraordinary growth. As a result of that, all the living systems on the Earth are in long-term decline. The fisheries, the forests, the wetlands, the grasslands. And so we're facing, for the first time, a huge challenge. And at the same time, 3.2 billion people earn less than $2.50 a day. They're without sanitation. 1 billion people have no access to clean drinking water. And poverty and the gap between rich and poor in all countries in the world and between countries is increasing. And the question becomes, if this is happening with 25% of the world's population consuming 75 to 80% of the world's resources, how do we find a way to meet the needs, the basic needs, of virtually all the people that are going to be on the planet by the year 2050, particularly because we expect that there will be about 9 billion people on the planet by the year 2050. As they said in Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem. And, continuing to do business as usual is not going to work. So in a sense, the idea behind sustainability is not about saving the planet. It's actually saving the Earth's capacity to support 9 billion people that will have a decent quality of life, that will be able to participate in an economic opportunity, and future generations will be able to do the same. The issue is preserving the Earth's capacity to support a thriving population because, and here is the challenge, here's the intellectual challenge. The Earth provides all the resources which make life possible, and it also assimilates our waste and converts it back into useful substances. We can go about 3 minutes without breathing, about 3 days without water, and about 3 weeks without food. The Earth provides all of the resources that make it possible for us to have shelter, transportation, everything that we do in society. But we assume that we're separate from the Earth. We also assume that the Earth will always be the gift that keeps on giving, ad infinitum, and irrespective of the size of the population and the material needs and desires of humans. So what we need is a different mindset. And as Einstein said, we can't solve today's problems at the level of thinking at which they were created. We need a shift in thinking. And it's about a shift in remaking the human presence in the natural world that will allow everyone to have a decent quality of life. So in a sense, the whole idea behind sustainability was how do we create economic and social development that will assure that everybody now on the Earth will have a decent quality of life, and also future generations will. And that's what it really is about, and that's why it's so critical. The exciting thing from my perspective is that we're beginning to understand that if we find better ways to use our resources more efficiently, if we find our ways to get ourselves off fossil fuels and move to renewable energy, if we find ways to live off nature's income, not its capital. So instead of depleting our fisheries, instead of depleting our forests, instead of depleting our grasslands, we're only using those resources at the rate that they can self-regenerate. This is sustainable. It means you can keep doing it over and over and over again. And that's the essence, is how do we create a sustainable economy? Here's what we know about living sustainably on this Earth. First, using renewable energy, not fossil fuels. Being as energy efficient as possible. It's having a circular production and consumption economy where we eliminate the concept of waste because all waste products are raw materials or nutrients for another product or another activity. This is what nature does. There's no such thing as waste in nature because all waste products become raw materials or nutrients for another species. And the third thing we need to do is to learn how to live off nature's income, not its capital. So we are only using natural resources at the rate that they can self-regenerate. And those are the ideas embodied in sustainable forestry, sustainable agriculture, and sustainable fisheries. Those are the basic principles of how to live sustainably. And how we can convert that into the right economic incentives and the right sort of economic strategy for society, that's what will allow us to meet the needs of the most people for the longest time.